Are you one of the 75% of contractors whose financial statements are inaccurate? Find out. Click on the link in the show notes and you'll get a free P&L and balance sheet check.
This is Contractor Sense with Ruth King.
Welcome to Contractor Sense. Here you discover ideas, tactics, news, and information that matters to your contracting business and you. I'm your host, Ruth King. This episode is sponsored by Financially Fit Business. Get the business tool that helps you grow profitably, build wealth, and significantly impact your life and the lives of your employees. Go to www.financiallyfit.business and get started today. Thank you for joining us. Here's how we will help your business and you. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a happy and productive holiday season and you're ready to get back to work. Here are 7 ways to keep busy and profitable in 2025. So number 1, if your financial statements are not accurate, resolve to get them accurate. Remember that garbage in equals garbage out. You cannot make good business decisions on inaccurate information. If you're running your business through your checkbook, resolve to actually run your business through accrual-based financial statements. You'll find out whether you're truly profitable or not. So it's really important to have accurate financial statements. Number 2, grow your profitable maintenance program. Whether it's residential or commercial or both, your maintenance clients trust you and will use your company in good times and bad. They provide stability, less seasonality, and more consistent cash flow. So, from a residential perspective, here's an easy way to discover how many residential maintenance plans you should have. Divide the number of non-maintenance customers you've done business with in the past 5 years by 3. So if you've done business with 1,200 customers who are not maintenance clients, divide that 1,200 by 3 and you get 400. That's the minimum number of residential maintenance plans you should add in 2025. Okay. From a commercial perspective, it's different. Calculate the maintenance hours, not numbers, because think about it. If you have a roof, there could be 20, maintenance, 20 package units on that roof. And that's one maintenance plan, all right? It's not the number of systems. It's really the number of hours that are there. So if you have 3 commercial technicians, you should have 1,800 of commercial maintenance. So it's basically 600 hours per tech, all right? If you're not seeing that, it's time to get it there, okay? So if you're not meeting or exceeding those numbers, think about how you might want to get there in 2025. And again, ask your team members. They know the answers. The first place I probably would start would be with my expired maintenance clients. Residentially and commercial, find out why they quit. They might have just forgotten. That might be the easy way to get the numbers up quickly. And that tells you something. That means that if somebody's maintenance expired, then you've got to be in a situation where you have a plan to contact them to get them to renew it and figure out why they didn't renew it if they're not going to renew it. Okay. Number 3 is to ask your employees how to save $100 a month. All right. That seems like a little bit of money. Well, how many employees do you have? And if each one of them comes up with an idea to save $100 a month, that's a lot of money generally. And the reason I say $100 a month is if you ask an employee how to save $10,000 a year, they can't see that number. They can see $100 a month because that's part of their expenses. They can see little numbers. They can't see $10,000 a year. They just don't see that in their mind. If they're identifying with a number that they can relate to, like the $100 a month or the amount of their cell phone bill every month, they probably can come up with an idea or two. All right. So the cool part is to implement the ideas and give them a $100 bonus for coming up with the idea. So the question you might ask is, All right, how would you all like it if we paid your cell phone bill every month? And, everybody's going to go, yes, because it's an extra expense that they have that they wouldn't have. What would you do with the extra money if you didn't have to pay your cell phone bill every month and it was paid for you? There's usually dead silence, but the reality of the situation is they can come up with a few ideas. All right, come up with an idea to save $100 a month, and we'll pay your cell phone bill for a month or 2 months or however many, months the idea is. It actually does work. You're gonna get a lot of really, really great ideas, and you're gonna get some really crazy off the shelf ideas. And you have to look at those ideas and say, "Well, how'd you come up with that?" Rather than just dismiss them. It's like, there's no way in God's green earth we can do that. But the reality is they had a reason for coming up with that crazy idea. And a lot of times it's like, yeah, that's a really crazy idea unless. And then you start thinking about ways to make it actually work. So if you can't use an employee's ideas, you need to tell them, it's a great idea. We may be able to implement that in the future, but not at the present time. So at least, you acknowledge the fact that they actually had a great idea, but it's not something that you can implement at this time. Number 4 is to calculate your company's billable hour percentage. And then if you don't like it, resolve to increase it in 2025. So remember, in our industry, whether it's residential or commercial, we generate revenue through billable hours. If you can't bill a customer for a field employee's time, you don't generate revenue. So if one of your team members puts 40 hours on his or her timesheet, how many of those hours were billable? So here are my rules of thumb for that. Service should be at least 60% and preferably 75% or higher. Replacement should be at least 85% and preferably around 90%. Remember that my calculations show that the maximum is about 91%, and your replacement team should be doing that because they go do a job all day long and they stay there, unlike service. Okay. So if you'd like a template to calculate those billable hours, doesn't cost you anything. Just email me at rking@ontheribbon.com or call us at 770-729-0258. And we will take a break, and we will be right back with the last 4. Imagine you had total freedom. You didn't have to worry about money. You didn't have to be a slave to your business. The words, "I can't," are eliminated from your vocabulary. What if you could do what you want to do whenever you want to do it? A financially fit business could give you that freedom. How? By knowing what your financial statements are telling you and taking action based on what they say. You can do this in less than 10 minutes a month at an investment of less than taking your family out to dinner once a month. And if your financial statements are a mess, you can get help. Go to www.financiallyfit.business or click on the QR code below to get started today. Welcome back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. Before the break, I gave you 4 of the 7 ways to stay busy and profitable through 2025. And I'm going to give you the last 3 during this segment. Before the break, we talked about calculating your company's billable hour percentage. And then I asked if you wanted a template. Just email me or call me. And again, the contact info will be at the end of this show also. Number 5 is the company's net profit per hour. And if you don't like your net profit per hour, resolve to increase it in 2025. Remember that net profit per hour is calculated on billable hours, not total hours. And so you want to divide the 2024 net operating profit by the total number of billable or revenue producing hours, right? I can't tell you what your number should be. Not that I can't. I won't, because it's your business and you have to decide where you want to be. My rule of thumb for me personally is that I like to see the number at least what you could earn in a fast food restaurant. Funny story, I had a contractor complaining his profitability wasn't high enough. And it was on a percentage basis. It was okay. It was about 10% actually. And I said, fine. let's calculate your net profit per hour. He was an $8 million contractor. His net profit per hour came out to be $16 and something. And he went, crap. Well, I'm not telling you what his expletive really was. It really opened his eyes to how non-productive his employees were and how much wasted time there really and truly was versus the number of hours that he actually paid them. So if you come up with this, getting hit between the eyes with the 2x4 too, like this contractor did, all right, at least you know it. Make it better. And that's the thing to do for 2025. All right, so you say, okay, I want to make it better. How do I do it? You can be as simple as decreasing the number of unbillable hours, which is what he did. Track it. Put it on a wall. What gets watched gets improved. Number 6 is to watch your overtime hours. Overtime is really, really, really expensive. You think about it, this is, are you ludicrous? This is a ludicrous statement given what I've just talked to about with respect to billable hours. But on average, overtime should be at a minimum. And too many of your employees, overtime is a punishment. They don't want it. Think about the younger generation. They don't want to work overtime. They don't want to work weekends. They don't want to work nights. They want to put in their time and go do something else. So, for those of us who are our generation, we did it because that was what you did. So if we keep overtime to a minimum, how do we do that? Do we have somebody, working from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. and somebody starts at 10 and works to 7? I mean, there's lots of different ways to do it. Some of your employees might have to drop their kids off at school in the morning, so it's better for them not to have to rush around and get there by 7:30 or 8. What if they could get there in 10 and work until 7? Or whatever number that is. Till 6, until 7, yeah. Hour for lunch. I mean, think about it. Get creative about it. There are ways to decrease overtime hours by, moving schedules around. Okay. If your office personnel are consistently getting 1 or 2 hours a week of overtime and busy times and slow times, I mean, come on. If you pay an office person, and it's only $16 an hour, which is really low for right now, I just wanted to give this to you as an example. The overtime is $8 per hour or $416 per year. Then you have to add payroll taxes and workers' comp. So the real cost is $478. And that doesn't seem like a whole lot till you think about how much revenue you have to generate. And you've got 10% net, that's $4,784 for an hour a week. It's a lot. It's expensive. And last but not least, save money. At a minimum, save 1% of every dollar that comes in the door. This is advice I've given for a long time. Frequently I get emails or phone calls or somebody stands up in the middle of a presentation and says, thank you, this is what happened. This is what happened when I saved money. They have hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest-bearing accounts. They've bought real estate for cash when somebody absolutely needed money and sold it for many, many, many times what they paid for. You have the money to pay for trucks, computers, equipment, and other assets which in the past required bank loans. The revenues in the bank will give you a sense of security. Also, that if cash flow gets tight, you do have the ability to survive. So let me give you the 7 things for 2025 one last time. Okay. Number 1, if your financial statements are not accurate, get them accurate. Garbage in equals garbage out. Number 2, grow your profitable maintenance program. Number 3, ask your employees how to save $100 a month. Number 4, calculate your company's billable hours percentage. And if you don't like the percentage, change it. Make it better. Number 5, calculate your company's net profit per hour. Again, if you don't like the number, increase it in 2025 and figure out how to do it. Number 6 is to watch overtime hours. And number 7 is to save money. Okay. So implementing these 7 ideas in 2025 will help you stay busy and increase your bottom line. Thank you for joining us. Choose one thing that you discovered and implement it in your business. These ideas, tactics, and strategies help you make more money, have more free time, and give back. If you like today's program, spread the word. Please review this podcast on any device you're listening to it on. help a fellow contractor make more money too. For comments or questions, call me at 770-729-0258 or email Ruth King at hvacchannel.tv. Thanks for listening. Have a great and profitable day.